All is gone, we've lost everything. Dang, the apocalypse hit hard. Oh wait, no, this is just a normal winter in North Dakota. And certainly not the kind of weather you'd want to fly out in. But in the end, we are all a bunch of irrelevant souls standing on a floating space rock, so I'm gonna do so anyway. Today we'll be flying to Minneapolis out of the snowy and windy Grand Forks on Endeavour Air, operating under the regional branch Delta Connection. And yeah, I don't know why the weather had to be this bad the day I fly out, but it sure is one way to start my first video of 2025. Let's fly. CRJ Canadair Regional Jet. These are small passenger jets that can easily be recognized by their rear-positioned engines, T-tail, pointy nose, and how low they are to the ground. In the United States, Bombardier CRJs will typically be operated under the regional branches of legacy carriers like United Express, Delta Connection, and American Eagle, etc. Around the world, they've been used for short, usually domestic flights, you get the idea. They're regional jets. It's in the name. Now, the CRJ is probably the most under-reviewed aircraft series on this channel. I've literally never made a single trip report on one of them, even though I used to fly on them all the time in the 2010s. But the last time I was actually on a CRJ was in 2022. So yeah, it's been a while. I'm actually looking forward to flying on another one. So here we are in the tiny Grand Forks Airport terminal. As you probably saw earlier in this video, the weather is not very ideal for flying today. At least for flying with an on-time arrival. And that would be true. By the time I got to the airside, my CRJ900 was still being de-iced in Minneapolis, even though it should have departed a while ago. But what I was mostly worried about was if the weather would cause the flight to be cancelled. When I entered the terminal, the wind was some of the worst I had seen in my life. But eventually my CRJ took off from Minneapolis and would hopefully land here. So yeah, we're going to be taking Delta Flight 5407 out of Gate 2, which I believe is the Delta Gate. Okay, now can someone please explain to me why there are 3 Allegiant flights going out of Grand Forks, not just the same day, but the same time of day? I don't know what was up today. I mean, Grand Forks has some days where they don't get a single Allegiant flight. That's 3 A320 family aircraft going into Grand Forks, 1 hour apart from each other. Can they handle it?
Because of any further delays, a Delta agent will do that for you. If you rebook yourself, we are not able to touch your itinerary at that point, and you will have to call the Delta customer service. Once again, please do not rebook yourself for any of the Delta passengers. If you need to do so, service to Minneapolis, St. Paul. You will be getting a notification right now saying that we have delayed a little farther till 6:20 this afternoon. Our crew here is going to take a look at connection times.
Speaking of those Allegiant flights, as it got dark, I started to notice passengers from the Orlando flight piling near Gate 1. I was getting concerned about how many there would be because when I took Allegiant to Vegas, it was the only flight out in that time frame, yet a majority of the entire seating capacity here at Grand Forks was taken up, and that was an A319. The Orlando flight would be an A320. But luckily, my CRJ900 to Minneapolis made a successful touchdown. Let's see if you can spot it passing by. Here she is, the first CRJ900 to be the subject of a trip report on this channel. November 927XJ Juliet, a 16-year-old Canadair Regional Jet 900. I already have a trip report on board a Delta Connection regional flight, an Embraer 175. That one was operated by SkyWest, but this flight will be operated by Endeavour Air. Unlike SkyWest, Endeavour Air only operates for Delta Connection. Though the average passenger probably wouldn't notice a difference, I thought I'd bring it up as this is actually the first time I'm taking an Endeavour operated flight. But before being transferred to Endeavour Air in 2013, this particular CRJ900 flew for regional operator Pinnacle Airlines, and before that, Mesaba. Both those regional operators are long gone though. Oh, and by the way, just a day before this, the evening Grand Forks to Minneapolis flight was operated by SkyWest Airlines. Today was literally the day they switched it to Endeavour Air. I don't know why they did that. SkyWest had been performing the route for like at least most of the year. I don't know. There probably won't be much of a difference. When I take Delta Connection, it's usually SkyWest. The one time I took the now defunct Compass Airlines. I'll see if there's anything notable.
getting underway here shortly, and if you had a chance to step outside today, I'm sure it's no surprise. When we push back from the gate, we're going to be getting de-iced. After that, about 20 minutes or so, it should be a short taxi over to the runway. Taking off up to 25,000 feet. It's a quick ride once we get in the air. 48 on the flight again. Welcome aboard.
We'll be leaving shortly. At this time, large bags must be in the overhead bin. Smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. If you're sitting in the exit seat, please review the exit seating criteria and responsibilities on the safety information card in your seat pocket. If you do not meet these criteria, do not wish to perform these functions, let a flight attendant know so you can be reseated.
Onboard doors now closed. Captain Wyman for a brief demonstration of the safety feature of our CRJ900 aircraft.
Passengers to comply with crew instructions, posted placards, and lighted information signs. Smoking, the use of e-cigarettes or any smokeless product, including chewing tobacco, is not allowed on any Delta connection flights to the exit. Locate the nearest exits using these green symbols and keep in mind they may be. Breathe normally.
I mentioned earlier that the CRJ series is the most under-reviewed aircraft type on this channel. I say this not only because I had never made a review on one until now despite it being a common regional jet, but also because this used to be one of my most flown aircraft. In the 2010s, I almost never took a plane trip without at least one CRJ. I'd usually take them with United Express or Delta Connection, and it'd typically be the tiny CRJ900 variant, though I believe I was on one 700 and I took one 900 with Lufthansa CityLine. Yeah, this is only my second time on the 900 variant, but the CRJ was definitely the aircraft type I flew on the most in the 2010s. But before today's flight, the last time I had been on one was in the spring of 2022. I took two United Express flights operated by SkyWest, both CRJ200s. That was actually the time I started making trip reports, and I actually filmed one of the flights, but half of the footage got corrupted. I uploaded the takeoff video though, but until now that's been the only video I've uploaded with a CRJ as the subject. This was my first CRJ flight since 2022. So why did such a go-to aircraft for me become so rare in my travels? I think part of it is that a lot of the routes I used to take on CRJs have been switched to newer Embraer 175s, or even all the way to mainline jets. Some carriers have been phasing out CRJs as well, particularly the 200s, the one I was on the most. United is like the only one I know that still uses the 200s regularly. So yeah, not a lot of people like CRJs, but because I have so many memories on board them, it's kinda sad to see them being phased out, but at least variants like the 700, 550, and 900 are still quite common. As a matter of fact, just as I was editing this video, I found out that the CRJ900 is the most common type in Delta's entire fleet, and I mean their entire fleet, not just their regional branch.
We extend special welcome to our staff now, so medallion member. We appreciate you continuing to trust us with your travel.
Yeah, from the pumps, we're expecting to do the descent. Once we're on the ground, should be parking in gate Alpha 4. Current weather showing light winds out of the northeast, overcast skies, light snow, and about 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Thanks for joining us today. We look forward to serving you on future Delta Connection flights.
They may not be stored in the seat pockets. You may continue to use mobile devices until they are properly secured. Finally, please check over your seat for any remaining cup glasses like that.
After 1 year, we are back in Minneapolis. We'll be parking at gate A4, and this will actually be my first time in that gate area and on that side of the terminal. Before I address the weather delay stuff, I'm going to talk about the flight itself. Hard product on Delta's CRJ900 was better than I thought, actually, though it may be because I've taken too many CRJ200s. I thought it was quite similar to the Embraer 175. It was more than comfortable enough for a 50-minute flight. The service exceeded my expectations as well. The drink choice was small, but the snack choice was bigger than most other US airlines, one of the reasons why Delta is my favorite of them all. And yeah, just as I expected, I didn't notice a difference between this Endeavour Air-operated flight and my SkyWest flights. About the delay though, it's gonna affect the timeliness score, but I gotta emphasize the fact that this was not the airline's fault. The weather was really bad in both Grand Forks and Minneapolis today, only got better in Grand Forks around the time this plane got there. Honestly, I'm just grateful that it wasn't worse than it was. I mean, had I taken the morning or midday departure to Minneapolis, I would have been in for a greater delay. This was probably the best possible outcome for this flight given the bad weather, so good job to the Endeavour Air crew. Final score will be 7.7 out of 10. Overall, nice little regional hop held back by weather. I'd fly Delta's CRJ900 again any day.